welcome back to my channel. This is Stasia Bliss. We're finally getting on to the next tarot card, which is Temperance. This is my Celtic tarot, and this is card number 14. So we are just following the death card, and I'm sorry, it's been a minute. I actually experienced a death at the time of the death card of my father, and that was a big deal. And interestingly, to align with the journey that we're on, right? Like, so I'm sharing the tarot, the archetypes of the tarot. They are archetypal parts of reality. They are things we all experience at different times, and the tarot is simply a way in which to tune into and allow ourselves to look at, like if we're drawing cards and we get the death card, you're being drawn to notice what is dying in your life, whether it's actually someone or a process. And of course, a human death also is accompanied by many other deaths, because those who are remaining, they are also dying to an old reality. There's a death is happening, has visited you, right? And so pulling these cards, it's not like an ominous omen or something. It's literally like a way to pull a message from the universe. And what is this segment of this journey that we're in right now? So Temperance comes after death, and Temperance is all about healing. It's actually the card that is of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is the sage, or the wise one, the one who has learned from the lesson, right? Who has gone on the journey, chariot, has gone through the transformation of death and is now recouping energies, right? Temperance is a healing card. It's a card of patience, because something profound has changed the reality. So there is this call for bringing moderation back in, or bringing balance back in with this card. It's not the Justice card. It's like, it's moderating yourself back into the flow after death has transformed something major. And just to give an example from my life, everything leading up to my father's death and after majorly disrupted the flow that my life was in, what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. Instead of studying and, taking the clients I was and, doing the same kinds of things with my kids, I was instead going to the hospital and then going to a funeral and mortuary and, all these, mourning and all these things that disrupt it. That's part of the death archetype. And because the death archetype transforms, and it transforms everything you're doing. So in the process of someone dying or something in your life dying, all routines are taken out of their natural flow. So Temperance is an attempt to restore a flow, but it's not going to be the flow it was before, because we're now post-mortem, if you will. We're after that transformation process. And so she is often depicted as an angel that is coming to soothe, right? Coming to soothe and saying, be patient. It's going to take some time. Be patient. Like, there's healing happening, but it's not overnight, right? So we got to moderate. You're not going to go immediately back to doing everything normal again, right? I mean, I had a hard time. I couldn't teach a yoga class in a minute. I was going, but I was weepy, So starting to weave back in some new routine or some new pattern, or find some ways where you can bring some balance. I wasn't eating in the same way, which a lot of you guys accuse me of not eating ever, but, I do. I'm a small body and I'm a high metabolism. But, sometimes when you're going through grief, it's hard. I was just drinking a lot of protein drinks, and, food finally becomes, appetizing again, or, people are making and bringing you food because you just can't think of anything. The death process takes you through, and again, it doesn't have to be a physical death. It is a death process. Something has transformed. Maybe it's a breakup or divorce, or a health thing that you're getting through, or a job change, or you lost your house, or it could be a number of things. Your kids finally left home, or they just started going to school, or whatever that major transformation is. It disrupts the pattern. So Temperance is starting to restore and starting to bring healing and balance and moderation again in. And again, with the Sagittarian vibe, Sagittarius is now getting a new vision, a vision for something that is bigger, like a new picture. The wisdom from what has occurred is bringing a new vision. Sagittarians are the visionaries. It's like looking ahead to how things could be different than they are and then they have been. Seeing the broader vision, like taking the learning and applying it to, now what do we do with this this change that we've received? How can we not take it for granted? How can we embody it? It's like recovering your flow, and that's why you see water here. And there is like a need to remain calm with temperance, right? It's like shh, 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 like we know there's a wound there. We want to shh, 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 calm, right? If someone's very tense, we know that the tension could get to a breaking point, right? Could get to an illness point. And so in that state, we want to shh, 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 calm the tissues, calm the body, calm the mind, bring one away from the shock and the trauma that the death energy represents, and start to re-regulate the nervous system and find a place where homeostasis can be reached. And that is the energy of temperance. And so I invite you to find where in your life right now that energy is required of you, because there's no mistake that you're ending up on this video in this moment. If you're here and you're watching, then this message is for you, that temperance is being offered, being called for. She's even like in a birch forest, which is often in the runes, the birch is the sanctuary. So you're invited into the sanctuary of the present moment of temperance. It's like temper. Shh, 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 shh. Like to temper something is to like moderate. Of course, there's a temper tantrum where you're going out of being tempered, right? But to temper chocolate is to make it so that it will break and it lasts. Okay, I used to be a chocolatier. I had a raw chocolate company for 5 years, and I learned the process of tempering chocolate, and it's quite a process. Like it took me a good 9 months to get it down, because it's like you're heating and you're cooling. You're trying to get certain crystals to form in the chocolate so that it becomes resilient. Okay, so it's a combination of heating and cooling, which is very similar to the Kundalini process and balancing out your energies in your body. You're trying to get to a place where you are the most resilient, this perfect balance of heating and cooling, just to the right place where things solidify, things have tempered. And to temper a storm is to calm it, right? But to a place where now it's navigatable again, right? So we're tempering where in your life needs to be tempered, where have things gotten a little crazy or wild, and we just need to, like I'm noticing, oh my gosh, my shoulders are like rock hard, super tense, just from the last 6 weeks or whatever. And so I've started taking myself back to the relaxation center where I can sit in these different healing chairs and, do some yoga and end up in Shavasana long term, or just like start to use certain calming mantras, calming like beverages, and allowing myself to have Epsom salt baths and so forth. These are all like tempering methods, right? To temper, to bring like a balance and restore balance back again. So temperance is that. Where is that required of your life? How to apply? Sometimes it's just slowing down and becoming patient while things redirect. The death card doesn't come in for no reason. Lady Death has a purpose of reanimating always. And if you read the Skeleton Woman story with me the other day, and in the book that is coming from Women Who Run with Wolves, she talks about in there, and I spoke about this in the video the other day, about the archetype of the life, death, life, nature, which we're just coming through this death archetype nature to temperance. Temperance, again, is the life that follows the death. And a lot of people think death is followed by more death and that it just gets worse after that. But death is always the birthing ground of life. Why we use like fertilizer and manure and stuff, like decomposed dead things, the end of a cycle to cultivate the beginning of a cycle. So that Temperance card is tempering that shift, that movement through into a new reality, a new expression that follows that big transformation, because we're on a soul sculpting journey. Like we're refining our essence. We're getting to that place of, you know, dun 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 at the World card, at the final archetype. That again is followed by another Fool card, right? Another cycle. But here we are, a little bit more than halfway, having gone through this transformation breakdown, and now this part of this next bit we're going into, we're recalibrating. We're finding a new flow. We're seeing the vision of how our life is post-transformation. So where is that happening for you? You know, I hope that this is helpful to you. You know, I'm just doing this journey through the tarot to, you know, allow you to have another tool to look at your life journey from, because again, Kundalini embodiment, and as you're going to see in the 3rd episode with Thornton Streeter and the Subtle Science Lab group, really great conversation. You know, this Kundalini, this force, this God essence in us, it's a natural unfolding that we get there. It's a natural part of our maturation process as souls in our spiritual development, but that it can be a rocky journey, waking us up from the programmed mind, or the matrix, if you will, or the, you know, suppressed reality, or the one that's, you know, controlled your mind to only think in a certain way, to limiting your mind to only think in a certain way. So as we break that shell of patterns and conditioning and programs and patterns, and a lot of that is even just defragging from everything that our ancestors have been through and brought through to us, right? Not even talking about what was placed on us in this life. You know, if you went to public school, or you know, like the whole thing, the whole gamut of programs that were placed upon us. I mean, we're in a soul restructuring. We're in a tempering, finding the pieces that work, and we're crashing. The awakening is we're crashing the old reality system. We're like burying it, right? There's a death process. Some of those qualities come with us on our journey, but to learn how to work with the tools, that's all the things that I offer on this channel, you know, like tools you can use in becoming more comfortable in your consciousness. I love how Thornton just laid it out. You know, Kundalini is consciousness. So how to embody more consciousness, more of your awareness. That's all we're talking about here. And the events in our life that are often difficult and challenging that allow us the opportunity to manage more consciousness. And that's a miraculous thing in and of itself. So thank you for being here again today. I appreciate you. If you like this video, like it, subscribe, share. Please leave a comment below, or if you want to have a personal session, I'm back to scheduling those. My website and my email are below. And remember, your readings, if you want to do full moon, new moon reading, or just a reading for the year, or just a random time where you just need some direction, those are always done by donation. They can be done via Zoom or a text app. And I'd love to get to know you that way. See if we are compatible and working together. I'm here to support you on your journey of consciousness, and I appreciate you. I love you, and namaste.